Oh, 56 hard in the wall. Looks like we're gonna stay green. Oh,
they got a spin.
95 around, 33 hard into the inside wall.
Oh, they're wrecking up front. 93, Ricky Johnson around, collects a 30, the 59, the 30, I already said the 30. Oh,
They're still wrecking.
Oh my God, the 22 of Jason San Diego, damn it. Oh my word.
Turn 3 and 4.
Side, they fly for turn 3 and 4.
That's 66 now. Oh, they're 3 wide.
Oh no, who's
3.
there?
I don't know. They're 3 wide through the tri-oval. Give it to Feld there at the yellow flag. For the lead, the 77 goes to the inside, doesn't have the run there, goes back outside, he's going to try to have the momentum through turns 3 and 4, peaks to the inside, it's going to be a drag race down the front straightaways, Calavol's around!
It's going to be at the line, it's so close, Marslack wins it!
Don't think, oh, he got really close, he's going to look to the inside! Oh, they make contact! Oh my God! Joseph Weaver! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the beautiful Chicagoland Speedway for tonight's feature presentation of the United States Online Racing League Red Bull Cup Series. As always, I'm your host, Joe Twansky. Alongside me tonight, it's the amazing, the fantastical, the wonderful Tommy Bordeaux.
Good to be here, Joe. Glad to be back in the booth for another week here. Tonight's Chicagoland race is going to be a lot different than Talladega we saw last week, Joe, because these guys are going to have to play with that throttle, and tire wear going to be a big factor tonight.
And something else that's different, Tommy, we got a new ticker here at JTN, so hopefully you guys like our new design, throwing it back to your favorite era of stock car automobile racing in the early 2000s. But, Tommy, do you want to take us through the starting lineup tonight?
Well, absolutely, Joe, and we got a pretty good field here tonight over at Chicagoland in Joliet, Illinois. On the pole, a fan favorite, Huang Do, just 1/1000th of a second ahead of Jeff Dixon in the 15. That's your front row tonight. Behind them, Cal Lovell in the 12 car with Austin Hakes to his outside starting 4th. Behind them, Ray Tustin and Garrett Sudnor, pair of Toyotas there in 5th and 6th. Games 1, 2, 3 Racing. I know they've got a lot of confidence, Joe. Garrett won that lights race on Monday. They think they have some good cars tonight. Spencer Racing's Cam Barnes lines up beside team owner Alex Spencer to make up row number 4. Behind them, your Daytona winner Noah Joyce and DJ Harris rounds out the top 10. Then we go back to Chris Pickett and Antonio Ruiz in 11th and 12th. And Zach Krostowski finishes the field for our qualifying drivers, those who did not set a time but are still in the race. The 23 of Darren Ingram in 14th, Davey Hazard in 15th, Matthew Stillman 16th, Jamie Zalecki in the 07. He's going to roll off 17th. And behind them in the last 2 rows tonight, Randall Coleman and Sean Whitehill, 2 longtime friends and teammates. And Michael Murata is going to round out your field.
Tommy, a great field tonight here at Chicagoland, but I do have to correct you. It's Austin Spencer in the 13, isn't it?
Did I say Alex Spencer again?
You did again, but that's okay, Tommy. It's a crazy, zany world out there, and you know what that means. It's time for Tommy's World.
It's Tommy's World. It's Tommy's World. It's NASCAR. Excellent. It's Tommy's World. It's Tommy's World.
Well, hey everyone, welcome to Joliet, Illinois, and the Chicagoland Speedway. It's Tommy's World once again, and I'm going to take you through a few laps here at this 1.5 mile tri-oval. Right away here down into turn 1, bumpy on this low line, you're going to see drivers use a multitude of grooves here tonight during the race, and whether they go high or low, they're going to have to all contend with tire wear. That's going to be a major factor here at Chicagoland. Through turn 4 right now, back onto the front straightaway. Now this apron down here, below this white line, that's in bounds, but you got to watch for when you come up back on track. If there's no car out there to your outside, I'm the only vehicle or object on the track right now, unlike that qualifying session back in the day with the big orange. And here we go down the back stretch. This time I'm going to use the high line in turns 3 and 4. You're going to see a number of drivers use this kind of high to mid line. You're letting off the gas just a little bit and then getting back in as soon as you can to carry that momentum throughout the corner and have a better exit than those guys that use the bottom line. One more time around here, I'm going to use the high line in 1 and 2. Once again, tire wear going to be a factor for these guys, as well as, and you can see on the camera, bumps on this racetrack. It's a bumpy surface, not a new one certainly. This track showing its age. We could see some great finishes here, some great action, just like the Kyle show. Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson back here a few years ago. I think tonight, if we get some long green flag runs, Joe, we're going to see a great race here tonight and a great finish at Chicagoland Speedway.
And thank you once again to TWB Airlines for their sponsorship of the Tommy's World segment. Tommy, this track, you talked about it when we went to your world. It's bumpy. It's an old surface. I've noticed a lot of guys facing problems down in turns 3 and 4 tonight. Why is that?
Yeah, Joe. Well, comparing turns 1 and 2 to 3 and 4, 3 and 4 is a lot bumpier than 1 and 2, and you're going to see, especially like a big bump kind of towards the entry of the corner is going to get a lot of guys out of shape, and that's going to mess up the whole rest of the corner from them. And Joe, these guys are going to have to wheel it and try not to spin out or hit the wall or do anything of those sorts if they want to keep their race intact. Because I'll tell you, Joe, it's a wild ride. It feels like you're not in control of the car. The track is in control of you.
Yeah, it's a wild ride here in the Windy City. One guy in the chat tuning in, we're watching him on screen right now. DJ Harris writes in, "Thank you, Tommy, for teaching me how to drive the track." I am, though, looking at his car real quick, and the whole right side is scuffed up. You didn't teach him how to do that, though, right?
No, I would caution him if only the only practice he's had tonight is just watching Tommy's World. He might be in for a long night, Joe.
But again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in tonight here to JTN. As always, Joe Twansky, Tommy Bordeaux alongside me tonight. Bristol, our producer, back in the truck and working the cameras around the speedway. And make sure, if you haven't already, you hit subscribe here to the JoeTowNetwork. We got up to 430 subscribers, Tommy. That's like a plus 70 in a week, which is a new record, obviously. I think that probably goes without saying. And just appreciative of everyone that was a part of that. Hopefully you're tuning in tonight. I know there's a lot of racing going on. You have NFL playoffs. And if you're tuning in tonight, appreciate you being here for the start of this thing. And we are so excited to bring you flag-to-flag coverage, 134 laps, 201 miles here from Chicagoland Speedway. Also, make sure you check out our socials at JoeTowNetwork on Twitter. You can also use that to find us on Facebook. Give us a follow, like on our page over on Facebook. That's a great way to help support us. Tell us what you think about our broadcast. We appreciate all you guys tuning in, telling us good things. But, you know, if there's something you don't like us saying, I mean, feel free to comment. Ooh, I think Tommy and I, we're big boys, right?
At least you are.
I
don't know. If you want to dislike, hit the dislike button.
I don't know why you'd want to hit it. Why would you hit the dislike button, though? That's not what I'm saying. Not challenge.
It does the same thing as the like button. That's factual.
You might as well just hit the like button. That rate, right?
You'd think.
But...
You know, I actually had an idea years ago that I would tell people to hit the dislike button instead of the like button because it's unique, a different idea.
Yeah. That hurts the algorithm, though. So
it helps the algorithm. It doesn't matter.
It definitely does not.
No, it helps it. It doesn't care. It just sees numbers that people are interacting with it.
Please do not listen to Tommy. But we have a bunch of upcoming broadcasts here on JTN. You'll see them popping up on your screen just now. Tomorrow night, Hobo Racing from Myrtle Beach with the NXS 20 mod series. Monday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be back with the ASRA IndyCar series, which you can see some replays here on JTN. We had the Indy 200 a few months ago. And then end of the month, last Saturday of the month, the USORL Cup Series from Pocono, 10:40 p.m. Eastern Time. So maybe take a little break from the Rolex 24 that weekend. Come tune in and watch some JTN. Watching Huang Do and Austin Spencer on the screen right now. Spencer making the pass here in happy hour. But Tommy, passing tonight, I think we might have one of our best situations for passing just because there's so much tire wear at this track.
Well, I think it's going to depend on how long we get green flag runs for, Joe, because, like you said, we have a lot of potential here because of the tire wear. See cars now getting on track here.
To your cars.
Like you said, Joe, yeah, a lot of potential for passing when those tires wear out because it's really going to matter if you were saving early in the run or if you were going hard and wore all the good off of those Goodyear tires. So a definite situation for comers and goers as there are in these tire wear races.
For sure, Tommy. What? Part of that too is sometimes the guys that are a little slower, they're going to be able to run their cars a little longer, closer to the end of the fuel run. Do you foresee those guys maybe having a little bit of an advantage tonight, or do you think they're still going to be at a disadvantage because they're slower?
I still think it's going to be a disadvantage, Joe, because another important point here that was going to matter a lot is track position. I mean, especially if you do have a stretch of maybe a few yellows in a row, and it's online racing, so it could happen. Track position is important because even though tire wear is a big deal and you want to, save your tires, this field is also going to spread out a lot pretty quickly, and it's going to be hard to make up that ground and pass race cars.
And there you see the cars rolling off the grid, Tommy. Everyone, a bunch of beautiful paint schemes, a bunch of teammates switching up their paint schemes tonight. We'll take you through that throughout the broadcast here on JT. And there's one of them, Matthew Steelman in that 51. Like we're at the back of the pack. Here we go. So Huang Do, Jeff Dixon, row 1. Cal Laval, Austin Hakes, row 2. Row 3, it looks like it's that 18 car of Ray Tustin with Garrett Sidner to his outside. Row 4, Cam Barnes, Austin Spencer, 2 teammates like you mentioned earlier. And then rounding out your top 10, Daytona winner Noah Joyce and almost Mansfield winner DJ Harris in the 66.
I'll tell you what, you mentioned new paint schemes, Joe. The 12 of Cal Lovell and the 51 of Matthew Steelman doing kind of a paint scheme swap for this afternoon's race at Chicagoland. That's going to mess me up during this race, I guarantee.
I was talking with them pre-race and all the the marketing people over there, and they laughed at us, Tommy. So we're going to try to make the least amount of mistakes as possible tonight because we're going to prove them wrong. They said we can't do it. We're going to do it all night long here at Chicagoland. I have no idea what it is, but I do know what's about to happen. Down to the Mike-Co restart zone. Green flag, and we're racing from Chicagoland.
Here we go right away. Jeff Dixon, Huang Do. They're friends, brothers in arms even, but right now they're battling on the racetrack. Huang started on the pole, Joe, but it looks like Jeff Dixon's going to take the lead on that high side to start.
And Jeff Dixon using that outside line to get a lot of momentum going here early on in the race, Tommy. He snatches that lead down the back straightaway and now takes it really high through turns 3 and 4 again. And that's going to allow the 54 Huang Do to make the pass for the lead.
Yeah, like I mentioned in Tommy's world, you can go high, maybe not that high, but certainly we're going to see a lot of cars use kind of the middle groove. I think that's going to be the preferred groove. Cal Lovell right there down in the bottom. I think you can get away with it for a little bit at the very beginning of a run at least, but those tires are going to wear out quickly.
Well, Tommy, the one problem a lot of drivers talked about, there is a big bump down here on the bottom and middle lane through turns 3 and 4, and that causes the cars to spin out. Obviously, that's something you don't want to do throughout the night. So maybe that's why Dixon taking that high line, just trying to be very conservative early on in this thing.
Yeah, kind of interesting. He's stuck with that, even though it hasn't been good for him track position-wise. He's sticking with that line in 3 and 4. Could be pretty wise too. Might be saving some tires up there. I think if he has that mindset that this thing is going to go for a while, you've got to save your tires to be there at the end of the run. That might help that.
And the round goes to 18.
Car.
Ray Tustin around, save it, buddy. Don't go back up the track into the outside wall, middle of the track. Is that going to be a yellow, Tommy?
And that's going to bring it out. Our first yellow of the night. Took a few laps, but we've got our first.
Let's get you a replay of what happened, and it's right on cue. It never fails, Tommy. Right on cue. It's that big bump, and it's all down on this end of the track, and Tustin just hits it at the wrong angle on exit, and that 18 car looks like it wanted to come up off the track, carrying a lot of speed off the corner.
Yeah, that was kind of dangerous. I mentioned that giant inflatable orange that rolled around Chicagoland back in the day. It kind of took the same trajectory as that. Good thing nobody hit him. That could have been a worse accident than it was.
There he goes again. There you see it again. Just a good angle down the front straightaway. He tried to lock it down, Tommy, but you gotta... I don't know, that's just really scary when a car's coming back up the track like that.
Well, not to mention where it was, too, on corner exit. Cars necessarily aren't settled down like if you were just straight on the backstretch. So, you know, with those high speeds that are coming through like that, I mean, sheesh, a very good job by all these drivers to avoid it. I mean, that could have been a lot worse.
All these drivers coming down pit road get 4 fresh tires. That was the other thing we heard, that any opportunity these guys get, they're going to take to get those tires. Austin Spencer, though, looks like he's going to take 2 come off of pit road first. Wong Do second off pit road. It's going to be a drag race between Cal Laval. He gets it over Garrett Sidner, Austin Hakes, Jeff Dixon, Antonio Ruiz, Darren Ingram, Davey Hazard, and there you see the rest of the field. They're going too fast for me to continue to name them one by one.
Yeah, Joe, that discussion of 2 or 4 tires, that was something that was experimented with at the lights race on Monday here. But yours truly, I actually took 2 tires on one of my pit stops. And I would say probably in the middle to beginning of the race, there's really no point. Maybe you're banking on a quick caution to just gain some easy track position. But I will say definitely later in the run, it's possible if we get some late restarts, perhaps you do want that track position and you're willing to only take 2 fresh tires. It might be a strategy call for some of these guys if they want to be aggressive towards the end of the race.
Well, and Chris Pickett stayed out to lead a lap, so he gets that mission accomplished. So Austin Spencer will have his pick of the litter for this restart here in the Coca-Cola 200 from Chicagoland. Make sure, again, if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit subscribe here onto the JoeTowNetwork on the road to 500 subscribers rather quickly, and we really appreciate you guys tuning in tonight and telling your friends about us. Share the video. You know what to do to help us out. Yeah, y'all have done such a great job in the last week, but I believe we should be getting one to go. We'll have the choose cone up here. We actually have a choose marker this week instead of a line on the back straightaway, so that is definitely a good thing. Here we go down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Joe, and as we choose here, I think you're going to see a lot of people go high. That seemed to be the preferred groove on Monday night. Wong Do goes low. That's like where he started. Looks like we actually have even takers in the front couple spots, but then, Joe, you see back in the field, pretty much everybody going up high.
Yeah, if I'm one of those guys at the back, I really want to... I'm going to think about taking that bottom, because that is a lot of track position to be gained rather quickly. Yeah, maybe you'll lose a couple spots from where you're lined up on the restart, but, I mean, heck, if you're running 18th and all of a sudden you're running 12th just because you make a lane choice, I think that's a good bet to at least try to take. So Austin Spencer leading him back to green. Wong Do to his inside. We're going to be rolling down ever so slightly into the Mike Co restart zone. It says Geico, but it's Mike Co for you. Green flag, and we're back racing from Chicagoland.
Great restart there for Austin Spencer. Remember, he was up towards the front last week at Talladega. Now getting another opportunity to lead here at Chicagoland. We'll see if his tires can hold on. I don't think they will, Joe. He's sliding up the track just a little bit on the exit of 2. I think in just a couple laps here, we'll see that advantage of the 4 tires versus the 2 come into play. But so far, Austin Spencer leads down into 3.
Well, trying to grab some track position early on in this race, that is definitely going to be a big thing. Really close there off the corner. Austin Spencer on the inside, Wong Do trying to make the pass, and Garrett Sidner thought for a second to try to make it 3 wide on his teammate.
Well, looks like Spencer held the lead that time around at the stripe, but Wong Do will retake it here on the outside line. Gets around him. Now here comes Sidnor behind him. Sidnor, the winner of the lights race on Monday. We know he has a fast car, great on old tires. He's definitely going to be a car to watch here tonight.
Sidner takes over that second position. Now Cal Laval looking to the inside of the 13 of Austin Spencer. Still a gaggle of cars behind him here. And Austin Hakes now looking to try to find a way around this 13 car.
Hakes has had an up and down start to the season. He's got a few good finishes under his belt, but I could tell that he'd love to have a top 5 here and get things going in the positive direction after that winter break for the season. And what better place to do it than here at Chicagoland? Sort of a home track-ish for the man from, not Muncie, but that is in Indiana. So it's close enough.
Well, you saw there Garrett Sidner making an unsuccessful attempt to try to take over the lead from his teammate Wong Do. That 16 car, he hit that apron, he hit that white line on the bottom, Tommy, and that really seemed to upset it.
Yeah, it's dangerous. We saw people get upset by that apron, not just emotionally, but also physically as well during the Talladega race last week. And here it's going to be a whole lot bigger of a deal because there's not as much leeway like Talladega to save your car because it's very aggressive down there. That banking change right now looks like Sidnor's looking for the lead on the inside, Joe.
Yeah, down into turns 1 and 2. Sidner really sends it down into the center of the corner, and he's clear. Garrett Sidner takes the lead on lap 10.
Well, that was a power move right there, Joe. I didn't know if he was going to get it to stick or if Huang Do was going to be able to retake the lead on the outside. Now, Huang looks low on the 16, but Garrett's going to fend him off. And, Joe, I tell you, this guy was super fast.
Spencer around!
Austin Spencer! 2 cars involved, another accident.
Austin Hakes runs into the side of that 13, nowhere to go, and that's going to bring out our second yellow of the night. I don't want to chalk that up to 2 tires, Tommy, but oh man, that is definitely not going to help the case for these guys later on to try to make a strategy call.
You know, I don't think it's on 2 tires. I think, Joe, what you're seeing is a lot of these guys are running their setups really, really loose, possibly have a lot of weight towards the back of the car to try and offset some of that tight condition caused by worn tires. And, Joe, it could have been just a scenario there. Getting off the corner a little bit sideways and couldn't save the car. That brings out yellow number 2, 12 laps into the race.
Here's your habitat for Hoosier Boy onboard camera. Spencer just loose on the bottom again. We saw that earlier with Tustin for the first yellow. Aussie had nowhere to go there, though.
Yeah, tough break for the 28 car. He'll recover, I think. That damage wasn't too bad, but certainly not exactly the view you want to see. Thank you to Habitat for Hoosier Boy, providing mailboxes for the mailbox list for that onboard camera. It's a lot bigger of a problem than I thought, Joe. People getting their mailboxes wiped out by various incidents. And, inquire today. Habitat for Hoosier Boy, if you need a mailbox in your area.
Ultimate Salesman Tommy Bordeaux. Garrett Sidner going to be in a drag race with Darren Ingram, but Huang Do going to win the race off pit road. Ingram third with Sidner second. Calaval in fourth. Jamie's lucky problems down at the end of pit road. Get it turned around, buddy. We're going to watch. I just want to make sure he gets away. There he goes. Now he's got it. Captured live on JTN.
Yeah, we see everything here, let me tell you. You're not immune.
Randall Coleman staying out. I assume this is the same reason Pickett stayed out under the last yellow. Probably to lead a lap, get some bonus points. This 25 car decides to do this time by, and we should be getting 1 to go. And the Pickett also deciding to pit. I think he missed his stall that first time around. Huang Do acting like he's going to pit. Oh, he got really close.
Boy, yeah, that was razor thin, Joe. He's playing with fire there. But he does stay out and maintains the lead for now.
It's 23, Darren Ingram. He's got TWB on the back. I think he might give him a run for his money here.
Yeah, very possibly. Darren did have some speed at Chicagoland, but unfortunately involved in an incident early on in the race. It's possible that 23 car is going to be a challenger. But again, I mean, my eyes are set. They're fixed on Garrett Sidner, not just because of his car, but just also his driving as well. I think he's got a really good shot at winning here tonight, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him in victory lane. But, Joe, we still have over 120 laps left. Anything can happen.
That's not a lot of time, Tommy. They got to start pushing the issue right now.
I'm sure there would be a couple guys who would be frustrated if somebody did right now. If I was out there, me included. Looks like Huang Do chooses the high side this time. Garrett's going to go down on the bottom.
Yeah, so just flip-flopping their decisions. Darren Ingram's going to take second on the outside. That's, I think, what we all thought was going to happen there. So Cal Laval, he's going to line up in the third position. Austin Hakes back there in fifth after being involved in that incident. And DJ Harris there in sixth. Seventh, Matt Steelman. Eighth, I couldn't tell. Antonio Ruiz, 9th Cam Barnes, and 10th our good buddy Sean Whitehill in the 2-car. Wang Do leads him down off of turn number 4. He'll have control of this restart as they start to enter the Myco restart zone. And there we go, green flag, and we're back racing from Chicagoland.
Joe, you mentioned Sean Whitehill right before we got that green. He's done a nice job working his way up through the field. He's about cut his positions in half, which is pretty good for that 2-car. And right now, up at the front,
Oh,
Garrett
buddy.
Sidnor, he's going to get it. Another power move, this time on the restart.
Well, power move on the bottom, Tommy, and he did it with no momentum. When he made that pass earlier, he had to have a lot of forward positive momentum. That time, not so much, so gives Sidner the lead here on lap 15.
Yeah, not to mention Huang Do controlled the green flag on that restart too. Very, very, very good restart for that 16, and I think we're going to see that all night long too, Joe. This is a well-rounded race car and a great driver behind the wheel. If anyone wants to win this race, I think they're going to have to beat that 16.
Further on back for the 6th position, Cam Barnes trying to get to the inside of Austin Hakes. Hakes and Jeff Dixon are the 2 guys that I'm watching down here at this end of the track, Tommy, in 3 and 4. They're running right up against that wall. I don't know if I like it right now, but we've seen guys really struggling on the bottom. Again, there's a big bump down there. It's kind of just part of the game, part of the track. And I think they're just trying to do everything to avoid it right now. Is now Antonio Ruiz trying to get to the inside of Hakes for 7th.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy, Joe. And you saw in the Tommy's World segment, I did run the high line up close to the wall in 1 and 2. I'd be lying if I said that was on purpose, though. So these guys' strategies, I think, differing slightly than the rest of the field, could come back and help them later in the run, however.
And Cam Barnes now looking to the inside of Dixon for that 5th position. It looks like he's going to clear him off of turn number 2 ever so slightly, so move the Ray Bestis Ford up into 5th. Oh, wait, there comes Dixon back to the outside. I don't think, though, he's going to be able to hold on to that as we go through 3 and 4. As Hakes closing up on the back bumper of that 15. 15 of Dixon, that Skittles machine not getting a good run down at that end of the track that time around.
I will say, Joe, I'm kind of surprised that they are running that high because I didn't feel like I was in that race on Monday here. I didn't feel like that high in the track really had that much grip, and perhaps that's going to change later in the race. A little bit of warp there from Cam Barnes for me on my end, at least. He looked like he was inside of the backstretch wall, but interesting to see that they're using that top, the 15 and 28R, and they are making it work. At least to drive the car.
Oh, we got car around at the back. It's Matthew Steelman. The 51. Is that going to bring out a yellow, Tommy?
No, looks like they're staying green for now. He gets it going. So we stay green.
Try to see what happened there to the 51 real quick. See it? Oh, he just gets loose through 4. I don't know if maybe there was a little warp from the 55. Didn't look like it on my end. But a tough break, that 51 now reporting a tire going down.
Yeah, not surprised, Joe. This, like I said, I keep coming back to Tommy's World because that's one of the most informative segments you're going to get on this broadcast tonight. The abrasive service here, if you spin out, I mean, that's a death sentence for your Goodyear Eagles. You got to put some new rubber on. Those things are going to be shot. And indeed, that 51 car, having to come down pit road, going to lose a lot more time and a few laps here, unfortunately.
And the field really spreading out now, Tommy, so definitely that spells disaster for the 51 UPS team.
Well, back in the field, a guy who started towards the rear to begin the race has now made his way up inside the top 10. It's the 75 of Davey Hazard. He's using a pretty high line as well. So maybe taking a page out of the 15 of Jeff Dixon's notebook there. Oh, we got problems in 4.
Austin Hakes around. He's in the middle of the track. I would assume that might be a yellow.
Keeps it together. Nobody hit him. We stay green.
Get your replay of that. Feeling Austin is probably not very happy, very vocal about not liking the track here and the racing surface conditions, and then there it is again, just loose off of turn number 4.
Yeah, Austin, I mean, he's one of the better drivers out here, and if it's catching him out, you know it's going to be difficult for all of these guys.
Just like you said earlier in the broadcast, Tommy, just a tough break for that whole 28 team. They've just had a really bad season to date, and they were looking to try to get a rebound here at his hometown-ish track, and obviously not the night that they were looking for.
Now, hopefully they've got some good finishes coming for them soon, though, Joe. Another guy that's kind of struggled recently, even though he's had some speed, has been the 3-car of Noah Joyce. Right now, he's pretty much the tail end of, I suppose, the lead pack 1 car, almost a lap down is Randall Coleman in the 25. Running back in 16th is the 3 of Noah Joyce, our Daytona winner. Joe, he's had a lot of speed, but he's also been involved in a lot of accidents. I don't know if he's finished a race, at least in one piece, since Daytona. That 3-car, they're looking for a big turnaround. So far, a little bit of a slow start, but Joe, I know they've got a lot of speed in that Lowe's machine. The car looks great, at least.
It does. It definitely looks great, Tommy, and it's got to at least be a little comforting to have that win early on in the year. Now, we're creeping up on that point where it's going to be really close on the amount of winners that we have, and then going to tiebreakers on wins for the playoffs. But right now, you got to be thinking that this 3-car Noah Joyce, he's still in a good position to make the playoffs at the end of the season.
Yeah, you hope so, at least, especially after you win the season opener. Certainly no excuse to sit on your laurels, and the 3 team hasn't, but they just haven't had the kind of luck that they would like to have success. Up front now, things have tightened up a little bit. It seems like a 4-car breakaway with Garrett Sidnor in the lead, but Huang Do's right on his tail. Cam Barnes has made his way up to 3rd, Darren Ingram in 4th. Those 4 sticking together like glue up front.
Yeah, this 7 of Cam Barnes has had a really good run tonight, really rising through the field, has been able to make passes. Here we see he's trying to get to that inside of Huang Do in the 54. But this 7 Rebestis machine looking really good right now, doing a good job for the Blue Oval. He's going to take over the 2nd position as we see that 54 make contact with the wall off of 2.
That little brush there is going to let that 7-car easily go by him. Cam Barnes up to 2nd place. He was our winner at Anchorage, showed a lot of speed there. Tonight at Chicagoland, he had some good speed on Monday as well. So let's see if he can give Garrett Sidnor a run for his money.
Well, and Tommy, the surface, it's very similar. We've had the same complaints from drivers. A lot of tire wear, whether that be because of the surface or the Goodyear tires that they brought to the race. But that 7-car was just so dominant at Anchorage with that similar track surface, and I'm not surprised at all to see him really fast here again tonight.
There he goes using that apron there on the front straightaway. That is inbounds. I think that's going to kind of compromise his entry into turn 1. Whoa, getting really close to Garrett Sidnor there, Joe.
Well, and that's going to allow Huang Do to get to his inside down here, going into 3 and 4. So that's going to give this 54 the opportunity to take the preferred line, and he does.
A little bit of 3
and now we're 3
action
wide for the lead, and Huang Do takes it off of turn 4. That was a woo!
And they're side by side right behind him. Cam Barnes going to look again to the inside. Sidnor was in the lead just a lap ago at this point. Now back to 3rd. Huang Do the opposite. Cameron Barnes, there he goes, trying to squeeze Huang up there. Put the 7-car in the lead by a foot down the backstretch.
Yeah, down into 3 and 4. This is where we saw everything go wrong for Sidnor last time by. Now the battle for the lead involves the 7 and 54. Give it to Cam Barnes off of turn 4.
How about this race already, Joe? You talked about the potential for a lot of passing with these worn tires, and we're seeing exactly that. We're quite a few laps into this run right now, and these guys' tires, I know, are going to be hurting, and we're seeing who's saving them the best. Huang in the wall a little bit there. Oh, contact with the 16.
Well, and that's going to allow the 7 of Barnes to squeak out. Darren Ingram takes advantage of that, makes his way around Garrett Sidnor. Now Sidnor dives it to the bottom. He turns 3 and 4. They're 3 wide per second down the front straightaway.
Huang another brush to the wall, and he's back in 4th right now, but put Darren Ingram in 2nd. How about that? Ingram, who was in 4th just a minute ago. A little bit of an incident between the 54 and 16. Now the 16 looks down to the inside, trying to get that 2nd spot back.
Sidnor really trying. He's got to start attacking because he's seeing that 7 of Cam Barnes start to squeak away with the lead. Gives Sidnor that 2nd position down in 3 and 4.
Yeah, and it was Sidnor early on in this race who was kind of squeaking away with that advantage. Right now, Cam Barnes, maybe he did a little bit better job of saving tires during this run and is able to extend that lead now to 0.6 of a second, quite large for this point in the race, especially after how quickly he just took the lead a few laps ago.
And this field, you see the relative on your ticker, on your screen. This field really starting to get strung out here over the course of this run, Tommy, and what that means is, oh, Sidner hard into the wall off of 4. He's going to lose 2 positions down the front straightaway.
Oh, that's going to hurt. And, it tightens up so much out of 4, Joe. That's really where these cars, I think, even compared to turn 2 on the exit there, they're really, really going to struggle when these tires go away. And you saw a little bit of that right there. And here's a guy coming back into the picture we talked about earlier, and now he's back in the fray. It's the 15 of Jeff Dixon in 5th position, right behind Sidnor.
I told you that 15 of Dixon, Tommy, he was going to be saving tires. I think he did a really good job of that at the start of this run. He looks to the inside of Sidner for that 4th position here going down into turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, and he's trying to make it look easy. Looks like he does right there. Sidnor, I think, struggling right now on this set of tires. Maybe didn't do as good of a job as he wanted to at conserving them for later in the run. All eyes on the 15 car of Jeff Dixon now, though. He's got his sights set on 3rd and passing our pole sitter, Huang Do.
He gets really close to that apron through turns 3 and 4. That 15 Skittles machine looks like it's on rails right now, but he's got a challenge ahead of him trying to get around the 54 and 23. Huang Do in the 54, Darren Ingram in the 23. 2 guys that are always tough to pass.
Dixon to the inside of Do as we enter turn number 3. I think he's going to get this one too, Joe. I really liked the bottom of turn 3 when I was racing here on Monday. Jeff Dixon right there, easily by Huang Do. He's got his sights set now on 2nd place. And Darren Ingram there in the 23.
Well, and Tommy, I wonder if maybe Dixon was waiting for the tires to wear in a little bit to start running that bottom, runs that high line, and then we've seen guys getting really loose on the bottom. Well, now his car's starting to tighten up. Okay, I'm going to go run the bottom now because my car is a little bit tighter, and now he's taking advantage of that where these other guys have already burned their stuff up on the bottom.
Yeah, we had thought that might be what he's doing up there on that extra high line, and it seems like it's exactly playing out to be the case. He's got 2nd place. If he can clear him out of 2 this time by, I think he is, Joe. He's got a good move into 1.
Yeah, Dixon running that right above that seam. He makes the pass on Ingram look easy off of turn 2, so move Dixon up to 2nd, Cam Barnes 1st, Ingram back there in 3rd, 4th Huang Do, and 5th Garrett Sidner.
Joe, while we watch this incredible race up front, multi-car battle for the lead, the Buffalo Bills have beaten the Baltimore Ravens 17-3 in the AFC divisional round and are moving on to the 2020-2021 season AFC Championship game. Here we go for the lead. Jeff Dixon on the inside of Cam Barnes. He takes it into 3.
And just as you said, moving around, that 15 of Jeff Dixon moved around that 7 of Cam Barnes, takes the lead with authority down the back straightaway. Dixon leads on lap 40.
Well, there we go, Joe. A new leader in many senses right now, both Jeff Dixon and, of course, I can't, as a lifelong Buffalo Bills fan, since I really started getting serious into football, this team has meant a lot to me over the years. If I could take a break from racing for a second, they've meant a lot for me for many reasons. And tonight, Joe, it's almost surreal to see them advance into the AFC Championship game. I'm blown away with this team's growth. Those are some young men out there who have worked very hard to get to this point, and I'm so happy to be a part of Bills Mafia. Back to what's important in front of me right now, Joe, though, is Jeff Dixon in the lead.
Extending it.
He's pulling away from Cam Barnes and the rest of the field.
Tommy, I like Skittles, but man, I don't like it when my Skittles start running away from me, and I think Cam Barnes is thinking that same thing running there in 2nd. It looked like he had it all figured out as green flag pit stops have started Zach Krastowski, Sean Whitehill down on pit road. Like the 12 of Cal Laval also on pit road. Apologies. He is out on track. That's the 18 of Ray Tustin.
Remember last week, Joe, that M&M's car that Jack Healy won at Talladega. A similar car here for Jeff Dixon, just some different colors and, of course, a different candy. perhaps back-to-back victories for the Mars brand. Too early to call yet, though, Joe. I mean, 44 laps in, 43 laps in, still a ways to go, but certainly if what Jeff Dixon is doing is any indication about his possible future in this race, it seems like he's got it figured out to a science. Whether or not any other drivers, Joe, could adapt and do the same kind of thing, we'll have to see, because right now he's really showing everybody how it's done.
Yeah, we saw Darren Ingram take over the second position there. Now that 7 to Cam Barnes is starting to slide back ever so slightly. Wonder if Barnes maybe, again, burned the rubber off those tires a little too quickly.
It's possible, but I'll tell you what, one guy who might have really is Garrett Sidnor, who was in the lead for a while there, and now is falling back almost 3 seconds behind the leader, Jeff Dixon. I think everybody should just burn their tires up more than Dixon has. He's conserved what he's got, and he's done a terrific job extending that lead since then. He's running faster times than anybody on track right now, save for the guys who just pit for fresh rubber a few laps ago.
One of those guys that we just saw pit for fresh rubber, the number 12 Kellogg's machine of Cal Laval. He comes to pit road, one of the first of our leaders to do so. See if that brings any other guys down pit road here the next couple laps or any sooner. And it's Jeff Dixon coming to pit road first out of our leaders.
Yeah, I think not only is he coming down, Joe, but here come the rest of the top 5. Everybody's seeing what he's doing and following suit. I'm not surprised, Joe, that they followed him because, as you know, that fresh tire really has a lot more grip than your worn tire, obviously, and that means a lot more time on the racetrack that you're losing, even by staying one more lap out on that old tire.
Well, Tommy, something to keep an eye on. It looked like that 23 of Darren Ingram was really hot coming to pit road. Depending on where the timing and scoring starts for pit lane, I'd worry that maybe he could get caught speeding in that first entry zone. Jeff Dixon, though, going to win the race off pit road.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, I mean, he had a huge advantage coming in, but like you said, it'll be interesting to see if Darren Ingram has to come down again, so we'll watch out for that. So far, though, a few different leaders here, Joe. A close battle for the lead. I think things might spread apart just a little bit after green flag stops, but it's been a really entertaining race so far.
Yeah, so there's the 12 of Cal Laval. So he pit a lap before. He was behind all of our leaders, and you see there he is. He's past Huang Do. He's past Darren Ingram, and he's starting to make inroads on that lead of Jeff Dixon here. What will be presumed to be the lead here in a couple laps once everyone pits.
Yeah, before green flag pit cycle started, Cal was running in 6th, so a big pickup for him, and a big gain on the racetrack.
What goes into making a strategy call like that, Tommy? I mean, it ended up... And it's the 13 of Austin Spencer around off of turn 4. Get your replay. Huh. Oh, wait.
This is going to be huge.
Whoa. That's not what caused the caution, Tommy.
I'm seeing DJ Harris retired his car. I might take a look at him, Joe.
Yeah, he goes down into turn 4 and then just turns it right into the wall and stops in the middle of the track.
Huh.
Antonio Ruiz has to smash the wall to avoid the 66. That causes Spencer to go around. I mean, I'm not going to show you guys that again, but...
Boy, odd accident, too, Joe. I mean, it looked like something maybe broke on that car. Maybe had a tire go down. Very unnatural way of just going straight to the wall like that. And unfortunately, in such a bad spot with cars coming, that a few more got damaged from that. Austin Spencer and Antonio Ruiz included.
I would be angry. I would be angry, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's an issue there. Regardless, pit stops now occurring under these yellow flag conditions. Big pickup for that 12 team, Joe. They've got themselves into 2nd. That's going to give them a lot more position on pit road. So a good strategy call by them, for sure.
Oh, yeah, it ended up playing out in their favor in the end, Tommy, but... woo-wee! That was a fun run there for a little bit. Pit stop's happening now. watch them do that. Make sure if you haven't already, hit like on the video. Subscribe to JTN, the JoeTowNetwork, if you haven't already as well. Austin Hakes around at the end of pit road. That's going to probably might cause some troubles for Darren Ingram. Nope, it does not. So Ingram going to win the race off pit road with a 2-tire stop. Jeff Dixon runs to the back of Huang Do. Looks like he stopped a little short in his box. You see everyone else coming off pit road. Sean Whitehill, Randall Coleman, Garrett Sidner. Big loser on pit road. I have to think he probably repaired the right side damage after trying to knock down the wall off turn 4 a couple times.
Yeah, that's, it hurts maybe in the moment, Joe, but it's something you have to do. It's going to just hamper the car's performance, especially aerodynamically, given where he hit the wall with that car. And certainly, we know he's fast, at least in the short run. We'll have to see if he can turn things around on the long run. Maybe save his tires more next run, do something. We know he has speed, but he's going to have to do a little bit of rebounding action here. And make his application into the NBA known.
Well, and real quick, Mikey Murata just led a lap here at Chicagoland. Congratulations to the 55 team.
That is terrific. Michael, another guy that's had some hard luck this season, but here we are, 50 laps into this event, and led a lap. Good for him.
Back to earlier, though. Make sure if you haven't already, hit like on the video, hit subscribe on the road to 450, 500, whatever number you want to set for us here at JTN. We appreciate you guys doing so over the last week. Big thanks to all you that have subscribed, have shared our videos, have hit the like button, and always send us in the nice comments. One of which tonight, Tommy, I saw. I have to find it real quick. So, Play Cool EAS types in these camera coverage tracks are better than NBC's cams. NBC takes like 20 seconds to show you the scene. Exactly. Bristol's he's on it.
Quick with it. Yeah.
He's on it, man. Bristol, our producer, and my dog, and our CEO, you know the rest. He is always on it here for us at JTN. And you can buy a Bristol Producer t-shirt on the JTN merch store. How about that?
Or Tommy's World shirt.
Or Tommy's World shirt. Why didn't you show it off, Tommy?
I was in a bit of a rush. Time crunch here, Joe. I had a flight from Thompson last night after the truck race.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a lot of time crunch going on.
A lot of time crunch. Busy man, Tommy Bordeaux. Guy that has been busy with the strategy calls. It's Darren Ingram now out front. Chooses the outside lane for this restart. Huang Do to his inside. As we approach the Myco restart zone, getting ready to go back. Green flag racing. Ingram always good on these restarts. Green flag, and we're back racing from Chicagoland.
Good start for the 23, Joe. We mentioned a few laps ago in those last pit stops, maybe that 23 car has a black flag for speeding. Clearly not, Joe. He is speeding, but it's in the right area of the track, and that's up front in the lead.
Well, he's causing a log jam behind him. Huang Do looks to the inside as we start to enter turns 3 and 4 here. At 23 looked really bad off of turn number 2.
Yeah, not too great, and that's going to allow Huang Do to get to his inside. One guy that peeked up there for a moment I saw was that red and white 75 of Davey Hazard. He's been kind of milling around the top 10, but hasn't had that kind of front of the field speed that we usually see out of that driver and that team. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do now that he's got some more track position, of course, start of the race towards the back of the pack.
Battle's on right now for that second position. Huang Do looking to the inside of Cal Laval. Now he looks to the inside. Darren Ingram for first off of turn 4.
Of course, Darren Ingram a big winner on that sequence because he got the lead on these most recent pit stops. But I will say that 12 car, Cal Lovell, running back in 6th, 7th position before that yellow flag. Now he's up to 3rd place. Good turnaround for that 12 Kellogg's car.
And we see a little crossover move going down the back straightaway. Darren Ingram lost the lead for a second. Now trying to get it back from Huang Do through turns 3 and 4. And Cal Laval ever so slightly peeking to the inside of that 23 through the center of the corner. Now down the through the tri-oval down the front straightaway into turn 1.
Well, it's these same 4 cars up front minus Garrett Sidnor. He's back there in 5th, but I feel like this top 4 of Ingram, Doe, and Barnes has been familiar, as has the 15 now of Jeff Dixon. I'll tell you what, though, Dixon still running that high line early in this run. He's got something to it, Joe. We saw how fast he was late in the run, last long green flag stretch we had, and he's working it again.
I'm telling you, Tommy, he's doing it to save his tires, and it did a marvelous job that first run. We saw that long green flag run. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another one here working lap number 56.
Yeah, been really clean so far, and that's something I love to see. You know, Cal looks like he lost the handle on that
Save
car.
of the night right there.
Yeah, he that is. I may not have looked like much on camera, but let me tell you, behind the wheel there, he just did a heck of a job saving that. We've seen so many drivers, you know, getting loose in that turn 4 area, causing an incident. Great job by him to save that car.
Yeah, for sure. And Tommy, oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy right now out here on this track. These guys all battling really hard. They're battling each other. They're battling the track, and I don't know where my train of thought went.
I'll tell you what, Joe, you know, these guys have been running really clean so far. We've only had a couple incidents to bring out the yellow flag. We saw a lot of green flag running at Talladega, of all places, early in the going. The full first half of the race was green. And here at Chicagoland, a track that going into this race, Joe, we talked in the pre-race meeting, perhaps this is going to be a caution fest. You know, it's a tough track, of course. We mentioned that bump in turns 3 and 4, and while it has brought out a few incidents, we've had a lot of green flag running. So props to these drivers, these very skilled USORL drivers, doing a great job keeping it together. And I say that, Joe, here's a guy that came out of absolutely nowhere.
Oh, he's around!
He has problems. Huge wreck. It's Garrett Sidnor. More cars involved. Looks like Huang Do down in the grass.
Huang Do, Cal Laval involved, so a bunch of fast cars involved in this one. The whole back end of that 16 car all torn up there. You see him, middle of your screen. Let's get you a replay. I mean, Tommy, it's the same thing once again here.
I mean, and I just mentioned it about 20 seconds ago, if that even. And I was talking about him, and wow, you know, that was just so rapid too. How that happened.
And apologies real quick, cameras crashed, so we'll be right back because Enter 2003 hates me. And back once again here on JTN, getting ready to get you guys back to coverage real quick. Tommy, what you seeing?
Well, right now, Joe, we got cars coming down pit road. Darren Ingram leads them down. The disheveled car of Garrett Sidnor, who had also met much speed there and was working his way up through the field. Coming down to pit road right now, Joe, that crew's got a lot of work ahead of them. I'm down towards their pit box, and you can hear them pounding on that car, putting pieces of bare balance on, trying to just salvage anything out of that 16. Oh, a little bit of contact there with the 7 cars. Cam Barnes tries to leave his pit stall. That's going to cost some time for that Spencer Racing Ford Mustang.
Here you see everything should be cycling back pretty quickly here. So that information on the top of your screen might take a couple seconds to get correct. But once it does, we'll make sure to tell you. But it's like, did the 25 a Coleman pit?
I think he
missed his stall.
He must have missed his stall or stayed out. I don't think he meant to do that. Yeah, coming down pit road once again this time.
Oopsies.
Listen, Jeff Dixon's going to be your provisional leader right now.
There you go. That information should be getting correct here. Apologies for that, but you know, it's what happens when you're trying to get a game from 2002. Anyways, I'm having fun, Tommy. Are you having fun?
I'm having a good time, Joe. This has actually been a really, really exciting race. I must say, we've had a couple different leaders, lead changes, and a close fight up front. And how about 3 cars actually up in the top 5 right now? The 11 of Antonio Ruiz in 3rd, Jamie Zalecki in 4th, and Austin Hicks recovered all the way up to 5th so far here, Joe, on the pit cycles.
There's everyone choosing. Ingram decided to take the bottom. Cal Laval also doing the same. I'm surprised more guys haven't towards the back that maybe we haven't seen towards the front. Zach Krastowski, Austin Hakes. Those types of guys. They haven't decided to take the bottom here because they've kind of been mired in mid-pack. Noah Joyce even. They've been mired mid-pack, and it's just that easy way to get that track position, Tommy.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they change anything up. One guy that did take the bottom gained a bunch of track position, the 29 car of Chris Pickett. We'll see how that works out for him. Here we go, back onto the front stretch. Jeff Dixon will lead them down into his inside. Darren Ingram heading into the Myco restart zone once again. Green flag is back out at Chicagoland.
Drag race down into turns 1 and 2. Dixon on the high side, Ingram on the bottom. And don't look. Whew, here comes the 11 of Antonio Ruiz. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah, Ruiz, one of those cars involved in an earlier incident trying to avoid DJ Harris in turns 3 and 4. Took a hard...
we're 3 wide for second, Tommy. I'm sorry.
He's hanging it out there. He's doing a good job. He's keeping it together. How about this? There goes Cal Lovell to the apron.
And, slides up right in front of that 11-15 of Dixon into the wall behind the 23 of Ingram.
Yeah, not a good corner there for Dixon. The 11 had kind of a shallow entry behind the 12, so put Cal Lovell fighting for the lead with Darren Ingram. I think he's going to get him to 3 and 4. We'll see.
And now things are starting to ramp up and get a little crazy here at Chicagoland. Cal Lovell takes the lead for the first time tonight.
Zalecki up to third now. That 07 car took a spin earlier in this race. No damage from it, but now he's up in the top 5, doing well. Ray Tustin as well in 4th position.
Some new faces towards the front after that last incident. Collected Garrett Sidner and Huang Do, so interesting to see how this race starts to shake out as those two heavy favorites and contenders have seemed to fall by the wayside.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the 16 of Garrett Sidnor either. A lot of damage on that car. Not terminal, but they're down. A lot of speed, Joe. Oh, we got a spinner on the apron there. It's the 29 of Pickett. Looks like we stay green. Everybody getting out of the way.
Oh, and that's just a tough break for those guys at the back of the pack. It looked like they really had to slow down to avoid that 29 car.
Yeah, that's going to break things up even further. And like I mentioned, Joe, things are already spread out pretty quickly here at this racetrack. Certainly not going to help them anytime soon.
I'm puzzled why that didn't throw yellow, because it looks like he spun back up the racetrack into 1.
Either way, we stay green. We have to deal with it now. And this whole field's got to deal with the 12 Ford Mustang and the Kellogg's machine of Cal Lovell. Up front, back a little bit further in the pack now. There's kind of a split between the top 5 and the cars on back from there. It's Jeff Dixon on the high line with Austin Hicks to his inside. We've seen a lot of those two cars together.
Yeah, one's got a Toyota logo, one's got a bow tie, but both, it sounded like we're running very similar setups from the information I could gather, so not surprised to see those two running very close to each other early on in this run. And while we were away, Darren Ingram managed to snatch the lead back away from Cal Lovell.
How about that? The 23 car back up to the front of the field. He has held the lead before at this race so far, but, you know, we've had some yellows that have interrupted his lead a little bit, so we'll have to see if we go later into this run how that 23 car handles on older tires. Lap 69 of 134.
Nice.
This race has gone by pretty quickly, Joe. I must say, with all this green flag running, these cars setting a really fast pace despite the high tire wear.
Yeah, we're about an hour into the broadcast, and we're just over halfway in this thing, so setting a blistering pace right now, Tommy.
Speaking of blisters, I'm sure some of these drivers' tires might have some blisters on them because it's hot here. A nice 79-degree air temperature, but that track temperature, Joe, into the low 120s here at Chicagoland. And inside the race cars, Joe, it's like a sauna in there, wearing all that protective fire suit gear. You don't really get an AC like you do in your street car. You have an air hose and, of course, the wind blowing in your face, but that's about it.
Further on back, there's Zach Krastowski in the one. He was trying to get by that 15 to Jeff Dixon, but now Austin Hakes looking to the inside of Jamie Zlecki in that 07 Speed Energy machine.
Austin Hakes doing a nice job recovering after that early incident with Austin Spencer. I almost said Alex Spencer. With Austin Spencer, got a little bit of a nose job on that 28 car, and since then, they found their way back up to the top 5, and they're running pretty well, Joe.
Well, I don't think Aussie had too many laps on the track in practice, so looks like he's starting to figure this thing out here at Chicagoland, and that is definitely a dangerous proposition for these drivers in front of him.
Yeah, it definitely is, Joe. He's a fast driver pretty much anywhere you go. And that 28 car under pressure still from the 07. And just back behind them, Joe, the Toyota of Davey Hazard in the 75. Here he comes back into the picture.
Tommy, who's your favorite driver here in the USORL?
Don't ask me that question. It's myself. But I'm not racing in this race, so I can't root for me.
Okay, if you couldn't choose yourself.
The fans, I don't know.
All right. Battle for second place. Cam Barnes to the inside of Cal Lavelle. Aussie big time hits the wall off turn 4. Further on back.
I would say I have a handful of favorites here. But they're all my favorite. That's the right answer.
There you go.
Hey, up front now, don't look now. We're changing the subject. Cam Barnes tracking down Darren Ingram for the lead. We saw that 7 car do a terrific job saving his tires on the opening run. And now looking to the inside of Ingram for the lead this time. Ray Tustin there in 3rd. He got around Cal Lovell for that spot.
Yeah, Ray really threw it down into turns 3 and 4, rather. Excuse me. And now Cam Barnes retakes the lead at Chicagoland. And this is very similar to that first. Oh, he's in the wall, Tommy. He's in the wall.
That's going to hurt his momentum, so move Darren Ingram back to the lead. Now Ray Tustin trying to take advantage of that, as well as Cal Lovell, who's gotten back to 2nd place.
And now for just a fraction of a second, we were 3 wide for the lead. I'm sure their spotters were yelling on the radio, hey, you're 3 wide, you dummy. But Darren Ingram takes the lead here. Ray Tustin starting to fall back.
How about all this jostling for position, Joe? I mean, we've had different leaders, different position changes, a lot of passing. This is probably one of the best races we've had all season long.
Especially for a mile and a half that everyone says sucks. So Cam Barnes there in 3rd trying to fend off this 18 of Tustin. Tustin all on that apron. Just really scares me, Tommy. That just really scares me.
Yeah, I'd be watching if I was that 18 team, because down there in 3 and 4 in that bottom line, especially on exit, we've seen a lot of guys lose the rear end of their car. Looks like that 18 doing a great job through 1 and 2 at least, Joe. He's up to 2nd place for the moment. Looks like that high side's going to get him back.
Yeah, and right now I'm watching the 75 of Davey Hazard. He's all over the back bumper of Cam Barnes through turns 1 and 2, trying to find a way around the 7 car. Ray Tustin with the slider through 3 and 4. Now pounds the wall off of 4.
Oh, you're not at the Chili Bowl. You can't really get away with that here. As right now he's falling back in quite a few positions. And Joe, again, out of nowhere, here comes Jeff Dixon now up to 2nd place.
It's like he saw the mess in front of him and decided to hit the NOS button. Moving up into 2nd is that 15 Skittles machine of Jeff Dixon.
It'd be terrific to have an onboard of his last couple laps, Joe, because he was mired back there in 8th position, and now he's moved all the way up to 2nd. We know how good he is at saving tires. Let's see if he has anything for Ingram, our leader.
I think he's going to have something. But, Tommy, right now, the thing that's really giving me the most anxiety is the way these guys run through 3 and 4. Some guys are really consistent with their line. Some guys dive from the top to the bottom. Some guys go bottom to top through the center. And it's just really scary as Davey Hazard decides to try and take it up the middle for 3rd place into 3.
3 wide. Let's see if they can hang on to it. Cam Barnes down in the bottom. He's going to get tight up there. Ooh, doesn't make any contact, but boy, they were close, Joe. Cam holds on to the position for now, the big loser out of that exchange. Cal Lovell falling back a few spots. Garrett Sidnor, we said he had a lot of damage. Well, guess what? He's back in the top 5.
And Jeff Dixon makes the pass for the lead on Darren Ingram to move Dixon back to the lead. There's Hazard going by the 7 of Cam Barnes. Garrett Sidnor now looking to do the same. Huang Do starting to make his way back towards the front. I bet you those two did a little more tire saving at the start of this run, Tommy.
Yeah, I think so, Joe. There goes Dixon down to the apron. You talk about tire saving. You got to wonder, with Darren Ingram in the lead, the kind of lead he had, he could have afforded to save those tires and let off a little bit. Let's see if he did that. So far, though, Davey Hazard doing a good job tracking him down as Jeff Dixon holds a nice steady lead in front by a couple of tenths of a second.
Well, and real quick, a quick programming note for us here on JTN. I saw Tom Musa in chat saying we're doing a fantastic job, Tommy, so give yourself a little pat on the back. Well, last weekend at Michigan for the Hobo Racing NXS Series, we saw Musa do a little flippity-doo down the back straightaway, so hopefully not the same thing tomorrow night as we head to Myrtle Beach with Hobo Racing. Join me and Ricky on the call at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Monday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time, the ASRA IndyCar Series from Gateway. That will be a fun time. Join me on the call for that one. And then we'll be back here with the USORL Red Bull Cup Series at the end of the month from Pocono, Tommy.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one at Pocono. Got some special Tommy's World things planned. But especially tomorrow night, Joe, checking out that Hobo Racing League race at Myrtle Beach. That's a fun track. I'm sure those drivers are going to have a lot of fun. And you and Ricky are going to have a lot of fun up in the booth for sure.
Oh, for sure, Tommy. And remember to stay up to date with us here at JTN and all our live race broadcasts. The best way to do so is, of course, to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because you'll get, and hit the little notification bell to get notifications when we go live, as well as, again, checking out our Facebook, our Twitter, as we make posts on race days, along with information about all the other content right here on JTN, the JoeTowNetwork.
Well, things have settled down, at least for the moment, Joe. It was crazy for a couple of laps there, but right now things a little bit more static, although Jeff Dixon advancing his lead over the rest of the field. Davey Hazard found the back bumper of Darren Ingram, and now that battle for second really tightening up.
I mean, I don't know how much more I could take of what we were seeing earlier because, oh boy, my heart was just beating out of my chest.
Well, if we get another caution, Joe, I wouldn't be surprised to see that taken to level 10. As we're closing in, Joe, just about 50 laps left this last time by. This race is coming to its conclusion. Before we get there, we're going to have to pit at least once more, possibly twice more. And, Joe, I think we're going to see those soon, just given by how many laps this run's been so far. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and Tommy, we saw those green flag pit stops just barely got through the whole cycle before we got a yellow flag. So I always like to try to run it as far as I can so I'm not caught a lap down by a yellow. I wonder if some of these guys might think the same as Davey Hazard moves up to the second position.
Yeah, it's definitely a thought, but you've got to balance that tire wear situation we talked about earlier. Even just one extra lap on those old tires can mean a lot, and it can really put you behind. Whereas we saw a guy like Cal Lovell taking the risk to come in a lap earlier, gained a lot of track position doing it that way.
Saw Hazard get really loose off of turn 4 that time. It allows Ingram to get back to his outside and make the pass back for second position, as now he's going to face the challenge from Games 1, 2, 3 Racing behind him as Sidner and Huang Do go to the bottom.
Yeah, in Games 1, 2, 3 Racing, I mean, we talked about them a little bit before in this broadcast, but Joe, you had a word with Ray Tustin earlier. I spoke to Gareth Sidnor, and they felt really good about their cars here tonight. And Sidnor, I said he was going to be possibly the one to beat tonight. This race has not really gone to plan for him, but he's found his way back up to second place now after a pretty hard crash earlier, hard slap against the wall in turn 4. I'm really surprised at the resilience. I shouldn't say surprised, but I really admire the resilience of that team to get back up there, but they've still got one more car to beat. That's Jeff Dixon in front by a whole 2 seconds now.
Saw 3 wide back there. Antonio Ruiz diving onto the apron. That 11 car has fresh tires a couple laps down here because he made a pit stop a few laps ago. I would encourage him not to do that. That's very terrifying. Especially because that 11 car has so much speed, and Darren Ingram just looked like he didn't think that 11 car had that much speed. That really screwed up the line of the 23 through 3 and 4, going to allow Sidner to try to pounce on him. What's lap car etiquette, Tommy, with new tires?
That's a tough one, especially at a track here where, new tires mean so much. I think, everybody knows what the tire advantage is going to be for those guys on new tires. You can definitely do it where you let an old car by. And there goes
Ingram to pit road.
He's one of the first takers of these leaders. Cal Lovell with him. Joe, I was going to say, for those guys that are out there on older tires, you got to just time it right so that lap car catches you and passes you without you losing too much time. But ultimately, it's probably going to be their spot regardless, so no point in blocking them or anything like that. Pit stop's beginning now. Darren Ingram, one of the first on pit road.
And not surprised to see that 23 try to make a strategy call here. We'll see if Hazard comes this time. He does. You see him slow down, so that's going to allow the 16 and the 54 to take over that second and third position. It's the Lecky around.
A little bit of another incident on pit road for the 07 tonight, Joe. That's two of them.
Not what you like to have.
No, but I'll tell you what, one guy that had a great pit entry there, Austin Hicks in the 28, he closed up all the way pretty much to the back bumper of Davey Hazard. A 28 car is looking for a good stop here, and I'll tell you what, that 23 of Darren Ingram's back on track, and he is flying, Joe. We'll have to see when Jeff Dixon pits, because it's got to be soon.
And Dixon staying out another lap here, as well as those two Toyotas behind him, so I wonder if maybe they're trying to stretch the fuel here a little bit, have those fresh tires closer to the end of the run, and then maybe, maybe make up that speed there at that end of the run, because this 15 car is just so fast compared to everyone else.
It's possible, Joe. It's possible that these guys can make it on fuel with one more stop if they stretch it long enough. The issue with that is going to be the tires and the kind of times they're running. Now, if you can eliminate an entire pit stop, that's going to help them, certainly not losing all that time, but hopefully they've done the math and the delta works out that they'll be able to come out with the lead after making just one more stop rather than two. Almost an F1 type strategy game, Joe.
I mean, it's very interesting to see, of course, how that's going to play out because... And there we see Dixon. Oh, no, he locks him up coming to pit road. Well, there
locked him up. I think he still got down to pit road speed, Joe, but not the cleanest entry. That 15 crew, but I'll tell you what, they're probably tugging on their collars right now.
Oh, Ray touched it around.
Oh, that's a problem.
Ah!
We stay green for now.
We're still going to stay green.
Down off the racing surface, but not in a good spot at all, Joe.
No.
We stay green. Officials, do not put out the yellow flag. We're still under green flag conditions. That was a scary moment there, especially for all those guys who were pitting early and were trapped a lap down.
And something that just happened there, Tommy. Huang Do passed Garrett Sidner by making a dive bomb move, coming to pit road so he gets around his teammate that way.
Yeah, those two were at the head of the field. I think Huang had already pit, though, Joe. I don't know. I think that 54 car having to stop again, maybe? I'm not sure. I think timing and scoring during pit cycles has maybe gotten me a little off. But either way, Joe, yeah, quite the move out of Huang Do right there.
Well, if that's the case, he was just trying to be aggressive to try to make up some of that time, but I do believe he just came and took tires and stuff, so getting his service here for the end of this race. Darren Ingram should be take over the lead here.
And handedly. Joe, pitting early has paid off, at least in the short run. And I got to say, Joe, if these guys are committed to pitting one more time, that's probably going to be the move that's going to work out for them. Use up all the good as much as you can, pit again early, get those fresh tires on, while the rest of the field has old stuff. In third place right now, Zach Krastowski, not sure if he's pit or not yet, but
he was
so
one of the
far,
first to pit.
Yeah, big gain for that team as well.
I believe. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Not very good at paying attention to that. Well, are his lap times comparable to the 75 and...
No.
Oh, Sean Whitehill around off of turn 4.
Hard to miss that. He's sailing through the grass right now, Joe.
Well, and those bright colors on the side of the car, really hard to miss it as it goes through the grass.
I think that's just another one of those Alpha 4 incidents we've seen before. This time, though, down the track avoids any calamity that could have possibly happened with fast approaching cars.
Davey Hazard trying to cut into this lead of Darren Ingram. Really watching the 75 start to push the issue, Tommy.
Yeah, he was 2/10 faster last time by, Joe, so he's got a little bit fresher tires, by about a lap and a half or so than Darren Ingram. And maybe he has a faster race car right now, but I'll be interested to see whether or not Darren Ingram, he might not be giving it his all right now because he wants to save a little bit. But then again, Joe, like I mentioned, with pit strategy working out the way it is, there's a lot of strategy involved in this race, a whole bunch of different scenarios, and working lap 100 right now, the way this race has gone, it's still up in the air for anybody to come home with the trophy at the end of the race.
Well, this is one of those races I really wish we had master strategist Ryan Pace nearby to kind of walk us through that. Pit's about 26 to 29 laps on fuel, so these guys are all going to have to pit again from where they were, unless they can really save a lot of gas, and I don't think they'll be able to do so, Tommy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the only candidate I'd give an opportunity for that to would be Jeff Dixon in the 15, perhaps Garrett Sidnor and Huang Do in the 16 and 54, respectively. But that's still a long ways to go. And Joe, I'm not sure if the tires are really going to work out for them in that kind of scenario. I don't know.
Do you know who you would pick to win at this point in the race, Tommy? Because Tony writes in asking, all right, boys, who's your picks at this point in the race?
That's a terrific question. Everybody get your picks in. I don't know anymore because it looks like we've got a yellow flag. So, Joe, it went completely out the window. Who knows at this point?
Now, let's see what happens here. It looks like it's the 11 of Antonio Ruiz. Oh, and Austin Spencer once again involved. They're coming off the corner. The 13 just hooks it right. It's the 11, brings out a yellow. Both those guys spinning. Doesn't look like either of them, either make contact with anything. That brings out our fifth yellow of the night.
Yeah, this changes everything, Joe. And I'm just taking a look on the monitor. Very odd wreck. I don't really know. I don't think there's a bump in that corner. That's a perplexing one, I must say. But either way, Joe,
Are you perplexed?
Now what? Now
what?
Now what? Because this race has flipped on its head. We talked a lot about strategy, possibilities of fuel saving, of tire saving, of this and that, eliminating a pit stop, all out the window, Joe. Everybody's going to come down pit road now.
Dude, I don't know what's next. What do you mean what's next? We're right on the edge of the fuel window. I mean, we're up against it. Not to mention, we've seen tires just so important all night. There's been guys that just haven't been able to do anything about it, guys that have, and it's just... I don't know. I still really like this 15 of Jeff Dixon.
I would too. I mean, that's who I was going to pick before we had this yellow. And I think still after this yellow, that might be who I pick. It's going to really come down to who can save their stuff in a couple different facets, Joe. Because you've got to save tires, number one. We know that's been big for long-run speed. This is, of course, assuming we go green to the end, which who knows at this point. But also saving your fuel if it gets to that point where we're on that cusp of making it without stopping again. So a lot of questions for all of those crew chiefs up on the pit boxes here tonight.
Everyone coming down pit road take advantage of this yellow. I assume everyone's going to take 4 fresh Goodyear racing tires. It does look to be that appears to be the case. Darren Ingram, Davey Hazard look like they're going to be in a drag race for the lead coming off pit road. Oh, Ingram contact with Cam Barnes, and actually Jeff Dixon wins the race off pit road, followed by Ingram, Hazard, Barnes, and Huang Do.
How about that? I mean, Jeff Dixon's crew has been lightning fast. They came in third in the order on that round of pit stops and managed to come out with the lead. Very impressive job by that crew and, of course, the driver to get in and out of his stall as fast as possible.
Well, and Tommy, what comes after lightning?
Thunder.
And what comes after thunder?
Depends on the severity of the storm, perhaps more lightning.
All right, and what comes with the thunder and lightning? If there's a lot of moisture in the air.
Rain.
And what happens after the rain?
It smells pretty good.
You get a rainbow, and look at the rainbow number 15 Skittles machine. Taste the rainbow. Come on, Tommy. Come on. Did you see what I was trying to do there?
I see what you're trying to do. We were playing the same song, just in a different key.
Woo-wee! Make sure if you haven't already, for more terrible situations like that, hit subscribe to the JoeTow Network. We have a bunch of upcoming broadcasts with these USORL guys, as well as the Hobo Racing League, the ASRA, TMP, Excel Racing, coming up in the next month. So really appreciate you guys tuning in tonight here on JTN. Seen 30 or so viewers throughout the night. Let's keep getting that number higher and higher as we get to the end of this race. As you make sure you're tuning in. It's been an exciting one, Tommy, and I don't know why you wouldn't hit that like button, because it has been an excellent night of racing here from the Windy City.
Yeah, 23, that was Michael Jordan's number. Playing for the Chicago Bulls. Let's see if we can get to 23 likes out there. I think it's possible, Joe, just 5 away. And at the front of the field, the 23 car of Darren Ingram is taking the high side, while Jeff Dixon, our outside pole sitter, but also our current leader, takes the inside.
I am surprised that Dixon decided to take the bottom there. Lining up like this: Dixon on the bottom, Darren Ingram on the top, Cam Barnes, Davey Hazard, row 2, row 3, Cal Laval, Zach Rostowski, row 4, Garrett Sidner, and then the 07 of Jamie Zalecki, and then rounding out your top 10, it's going to be the 29 of Chris Pickett, and the 25 of Randall Coleman. First time we said Randall's name all night long. As we transition, getting ready to get into the Miteco restart zone. Here we go, green flag, and we're back racing from Chicagoland.
Boy, terrific restart for Jeff Dixon there. Great launch for that 15 car. Down to the inside, Cam Barnes now makes the move for second. We know he's been quick on kind of that intermediate run. We'll see if he has anything for Jeff Dixon in these final laps. But still about 30-ish to go.
Well, Dixon's really quick at that end of the track. Now watch, he's going to take it right up against the wall, and that's where he's lost all of his speed throughout the night. It's Cam Barnes, Darren Ingram trying to start to close the gap there on that 15 Skittles Chevrolet.
I wonder what he's going to do now that he has cars bearing down on him. I mean, if he's able to get that high line working for him, maybe he'll stay there. I don't think he's going to be able to do that and hold on to the lead. But at the same time, given the fact that he's been able to save his tires so well by running that line, maybe he doesn't care about the lead right now. He just thinks about, on that white flag lap, who crosses the line first to take the checkered.
Cam Barnes looking to the inside here for the lead. He clears Jeff Dixon off of turn 4, so he takes the lead on lap 108.
Cam Barnes, no stranger to the lead in this race. Gets it back once again from that familiar 15 car, Jeff Dixon, this Skittles machine. And on the inside, that 7 Rebestas car, looking pretty classic out there. Behind them, the 23 Red Bull TWB Toyota Camry of Darren Ingram. Those are your top 3. Right behind them, Garrett Sidnor, who, of course, was up front at the very beginning of the race, has found his way back up into the top 5. And rounding out that top 5, of course, Davey Hazard in the 75.
Hazard trying to make a pass for 4th, but we continue to watch the battle for the lead. Jeff Dixon in the 15, Cam Barnes in the 7. Barnes holds him off for now, Tommy. Right now, though, I mean, if you're the 15 of Dixon, you just don't want to lose track position. We've seen all night long, he falls back a little bit too much at the start of these runs, and then it just takes him forever to get back up into the lead. But once he is back up there, it's smooth sailing.
I think it's okay. Yeah, let me tell you something. You've got to be pretty mature and I think calm behind the wheel to run a strategy like Dixon is doing. He knows that Highline is losing him time, but he knows he's going to be able to make it up later in the run. Yes, he's banking on this thing going green to the end, possibly. But being able to just be okay with losing spots and track position like that, boy, it takes a strong will out of the driver of the 15.
Laval looking to the inside of Zach Krastowski. Now look to the inside as we're 3 wide now for second. Jeff Dixon, again, strong car through 1 and 2, now trying to get back into second place, Tommy.
He's been the class of the field through 1 and 2 on the bottom. I don't think I've seen any other driver run 1 and 2 on the bottom as good as he has all night long, Joe. And look where it's put him. Back up to second place. And Joe, just a lap ago, he was in 4th, looking like he was on his way back. Now we're talking about him possibly tracking down Cam Barnes and taking back this lead.
Well, this 15 of Jeff Dixon, Tommy, right now he's just in a different zip code. He's so fast. in this middle to end portion of the run. He's going to continue. Now he's going to go back to the top down here in 3 and 4. We saw him on the bottom last time making passes. That's going to allow Darren Ingram to get to his inside off of 4.
He's got a strong belief in his car and his strategy. That's allowing him to do that right now. I mean, it may seem counterintuitive to be okay with giving up spots, but he knows it's for the greater good for later in the race, and right now it's working out. I bet his tires are probably the best of those 4 around him.
I would think so, too. Another guy that I'm keeping my eye on right now, it's the 25 of Randall Coleman starting to make his way up towards the front. Randall's a guy that's usually pretty good about saving tires, figuring out things as the race goes on. He just got by the one of Zach Krastowski, now looking for that 6th position in Cal Laval. And also, don't look now, here comes Davey Hazard trying to make his way back towards the front.
Hazard's been up front a few times, took the lead for a brief moment earlier on, but really hasn't shown winning speed necessarily just yet, but he also just could be a thing of timing, and we've seen timing be important at these races before. Garrett Sidnor makes the pass on Jeff Dixon. That's for 2nd.
Hazard now looks to the inside of Darren Ingram through turns 1 and 2. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get there. Huang Do got by the 25 of Randall Coleman, now looking for that 6th position of Cal Laval farther back. This race just kind of ebbs and flows, Tommy.
Yeah, we have a lot of comers and goers. We talked about it at the top of the broadcast. We thought we might have that, Joe, and indeed we are. This track being multi-grooved as well has allowed these drivers to use a variety of lines to help them on their quest towards the front. Things getting really close between the 15 and 23 and that outside line, Joe.
And now Ingram getting a big push from Davey Hazard down into 3 and 4, so give Ingram that 3rd position. It's Garrett Zidner now closing in on Cam Barnes.
How about that? Sidnor, who sustained some heavy damage to the right side of his race car earlier on in this event. Hard hit out of turn 4 for him, but now he's recovered, Joe. He's recovered. We know he's fast. He won here on Monday night. He's going to try and seal the deal and sweep Chicagoland this week. He's putting a lot of pressure on Cam Barnes right there, filling up that mirror, tracing his skid march through the turns.
What does that do for the guy out front? Cam Barnes, what does he have to be thinking right now?
Well, he's nervous. He's looking over his shoulder, looking up at the mirror back there. He knows he's there. He knows he's in his sights, and that's all that Garrett Sidnor is trying to do. And just trying to get in his head, and I think trying to force a mistake there. It's a very, very powerful move that drivers, and it's like pressing the B button to intimidate a NASCAR game. Let me tell you.
You got me with that one, Tommy. Garrett Sidner now looks again to the inside of Cam Barnes through turns 3 and 4. Can't get the nose down in there. Barnes really aggressive, defending the bottom through the tri-oval. He kind of skirts onto that flat part. Kind of surprised by the 15 of Jeff Dixon. He's fallen back a little more than I thought he would right now. Is Sidner now looking for the lead down the back straightaway?
Yeah, but I think he's just saving it, Joe. I think he's just saving it. Look up front at the lead here. We might have a change. There goes the 16. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. Garrett Sidnor takes the lead back. Probably 100 laps since he last had it, too.
Well, he had that big spin off of 4. I thought that his night was over. Heavy damage to the back end of that car. The team does a great job of fixing it up. And he makes his charge back towards the front. Garrett Sidner leading on lap 120.
What I was going to say about Jeff Dixon, Joe, was when the lights race on Monday, I noticed Jeff coming through the field very, very late in the race, but he did just a great job setting his tires. Found himself all the way up into, I think, the 3rd position by the end of it, coming from 8th or so. So I think that 15 car, he's got it in the car. But like you mentioned, time winding down, kind of interesting to see when he's going to make that move. It looks like he went 3 wide a little bit ago. Makes one move there on Darren Ingram. Couldn't get Hazard in the same corner, however.
That was a very scary corner there. Ingram was really high. Hazard kind of kept that 15 pinned to the bottom through the tri-oval and through the corner. So if Dixon can try to make a move on the 75 of Hazard, is Hazard trying to get by the 7 of Cam Barnes.
What Hazard's doing right now, he's trying to take away that line from Jeff Dixon. He doesn't want him to pass him. I mean, not at this stage in the race, certainly. So just kind of not pinching him necessarily, but just holding his line, not letting him have any extra room right there. Hazard's up to second.
Maybe not for long. Jeff Dixon looking to the inside through turns 3 and 4. Dixon on the bottom, Hazard on the outside. Let's see where Cam Barnes goes. He decides to push the 15. Now back to pushing the 75 as we enter turns 1 and 2. Again, Dixon right to the left of that. Now to your, to your left of that seam mark there, closest to the bottom of the racetrack, and he falls back in line as Ingram now looking for 4th.
I'm surprised Dixon wasn't able to make the move on Hazard through 1 and 2 right there. He's been so good there. But he gets it through 3 and 4. It doesn't matter, and by a large margin as well. I think Davey's getting real tight here towards the end of this run, as are all of these cars. But I think just the way that corner progressed, Hazard getting tight there, that allowed Dixon to take that second spot. And I think it's going to come down to these two cars, the 16 and 15, at the end of this thing.
Hazard's going to do his best, though, to stay there with that 15 of Dixon because he knows one mistake and he can pounce to try to get his 3rd victory of the season. Wong Do further on back makes the move on that 7 of Cam Barnes. Barnes just falling off a cliff right now. He falls outside the top 5.
And that time by is going to be 10 laps to go. It's the TWB 10 to go. On behalf of Garden Lights Direct, from porches, patios, and more outdoor lighting, you know where to go. It's GardenLightsDirect.com. That's your TWB 10 to go. Here we go. Battle for the lead heating up. Dixon looking to the inside of Sidnor. Not going to get it this time, but he hangs around that left rear quarter panel of Sidnor.
Sidnor really squeezing that 15 of Dixon through turns 3 and 4. It's not going to be enough as Dixon now even with the 16, but again, the 16 keeping that 15 down along the bottom of the track, Tommy.
I think he's got to do that. He's got to press him down there a little bit here, Joe. Cut off all the momentum because the 15's exits have been stellar. Really close on entry that time, Joe. We could have had an accident there, but they hold it together. But now Dixon's going to clear the 16. That might be game, set, and match. There goes Davey Hazard trying to pounce on the slowing 16 car after he lost the contact.
Hazard says, get out of the way, Garrett Sidner. He says it again. Sidner in the wall.
In the wall.
Garrett Sidner in the wall. Hard contact to the right side of that 16. His night, he is fuming behind the wheel of that machine.
Now, he's not going to be happy about that. He was already on the back foot, getting passed by Dixon, and right there does not make his situation any better. So it's down to 3 cars towards the front right now. Jeff Dixon in the lead. He's been one of the fastest all night long on these late runs. Behind him, the 75 of Davey Hazard, like you said, Joe, looking for his 3rd victory of the season. And behind them, the 23 of Darren Ingram.
Darren Ingram starting to fall back further. Hazard starting to close in on Dixon. Late stages of this race, this 15, we've seen the fastest car all night long at the end of this thing. Hazard trying to prove that statement false. But he's starting to fall back as Dixon again gets a great run off of turn 4.
Dixon just eked away from Hazard there that time, just a little bit, just by a skosh, Joe. I mean, but that's all he needs right now. I mean, we're coming down about 5 laps to go or so. This thing's almost going to be over, and I don't know. Hazard's pretty far back for this racetrack right now, Joe.
Ingram
the Hazard inside. Yeah, that's Ingram there. That's not going to help them at all, Joe. They can't be fighting like that. They're going to lose. They're going to lose this race in a lot of time, especially to Dixon there. That's exactly what Jeff wants to see, however.
Yeah, Hazard starting to fall further and further back. Ingram, I don't think, has enough speed in that 23 to catch this 15 of Jeff Dixon.
Well, the stage has pretty much been set at this point that it's going to be between these 3 cars at the front, but the class of the field pretty much all night long, especially on the long run, has been Jeff Dixon in the 15. That time by, Joe, just 4 laps to go.
Closing stages of these races, every driver, when you talk to them about what they want to be able to do behind the wheel, they want to go fast, right? Everyone wants to go fast. The second thing they talk about, it's closing races, getting the finishes you deserve, and Jeff Dixon trying to do that 3 laps to go.
Well, it's so important to do, but it's also so tough to do. You can lead a lot of the race just to lose at the very end. Jeff Dixon not trying to have that happen to him. That time by, Darren Ingram closed the gap by 0.2 of a second, Joe. Darren Ingram is catching Jeff Dixon.
He's closing in, but he's going to have to be really aggressive down here at this end of the racetrack. Ingram sends it to the bottom through turns 3 and 4, coming to 2 laps to go.
To go now. Things have tightened up a little bit here, Joe. We're going to have to see what these guys have got left in the tank, and by tank, I mean their tires. These things have got to be screaming out there, Joe, but right now, it's just 2.5 tenths back to second place. Really closing the gap now is Ingram.
Ingram's coming right now. He's hunting down that 15 of Jeff Dixon. Going down into 3 and 4. Let's see if that 23 can continue to close the gap. Hazard taking a different line, trying to keep his nose in clean air. Off of turn 4, he's going to see his second favorite flag, the white flag here at Chicagoland.
Here we go, Joe. 1 lap to go. Ingram, another 10th, shaved off the advantage of Dixon. Hazard might be in a good spot if these two get together. Watch out for that. But right now, Dixon in the driver's seat. Ingram behind him down the back straightaway. A little bit of juking out there. It's like a football field.
Yeah, taking some IndyCar lines down the back straightaway. Ingram really closes up on the back bumper of the 15. He's all over it as we go through 3 and 4. He's there on the bottom. He's to the inside. Coming to the checker flag. Oh, no, all 3 of them around 2 and 1.
Dixon!
Ah!
Wow! Unbelievable!
Tommy,
What a finish!
Tommy, at that point, we were just yelling. What did we just see?
What a finish! Unbelievable! I mean, I don't think I've seen a finish like that ever, Joe. Maybe it wasn't their speed, but it was the way the car glitched through the wall that propelled Jeff Dixon to the victory by just 1/100th of a second.
Now, let's get your replay real quick, because I think you're going to need one here.
Have you ever, Joe?
No, I don't think I've ever. There you see it. Ingram just does a great job of getting to the inside. And Tommy, I think you foreshadowed it perfectly. And just, oh my, just a heap of cars across the start-finish line.
I'll tell you what, folks, take a screenshot of that. It's the next Jackson Pollock painting. Are they race cars or is this a junkyard? Somebody came out with the win tonight. After all that, it was Jeff Dixon, but Joe, I don't think that was the way we expected that to finish.
No, I don't think so. See it one more time from the Martini on board with Davey Hazard, but man. I'm speechless, Tommy. I'm just speechless.
That is incredible, Joe. I mean, you don't see finishes like that every day, let me tell you. Of course, we do care about the driver's safety. They appear to be okay. And their teams, I'm sure, are going to have a lot to look at after the end of this race. Those race cars, I mean, they're torn up. But one of them is going to be in victory lane. That's the 15 of Jeff Dixon.
Get your post-race results here in a second. Tommy will start bringing in our top 3. I know Jeff Dixon, I don't think he has a mic, so we won't be able to talk with him tonight, try to get a statement from the driver of the number 15 Skittles machine, but
we'll have our second and third place drivers, Davey Hazard and Darren Ingram, coming up shortly.
I think we'll have plenty to talk about with those guys.
I think we will, and I think, Joe, I'm going to bring in Darren Ingram because we're going to get his reaction right from the driver's seat to the booth. Let's find out what he has to say about what just happened.
I don't know what he's going to have to say, because that, I don't know what you can say, Tommy. I don't know what you can say. Bringing him into the booth. Darren Ingram, driver of the number 23 Red Bull Toyota Camry. Tommy, you ask the first question, because I have no idea what to ask.
Well, first of all, Darren, are you okay? That was a big incident there coming to the start and finish line.
My feelings are hurt more than anything else.
I could tell. I mean, that was a hard lick. to your chances of winning that race. You thought for a second it was going to be yours. You were catching Jeff Dixon. Take us through the final couple laps there, knowing you had a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I knew tires were the biggest thing at this track, so I kind of let those guys try to let them use their stuff up there at the start of that last run. I think I fell back to like fourth or fifth, a couple tenths back at one point, but I knew tires would matter the most, and I just really wanted to wait until 5 to go to start pushing. And Davey slid up at one point, and I got underneath him, and I knew I just had to take the chance. And I thought I played it pretty much perfectly there, timed it perfectly, but got drove down back into, so didn't get to win.
Well, and obviously, Darren, a really tough, a tough way to end one of these races. I know that's definitely not the way you want to lose it. I don't think that's the way you'd want to win it, if I'm catching your drift right now. But overall, a great night for you and the 23 team. You guys were up front throughout the night. I know, again, it's disappointing not to come away with the victory, but what did you learn about yourself and the team tonight?
I mean, same thing we always knew. I mean, we're bad fast every week. I think that's my third or fourth second place finish of the season. I mean, it sucks playing the bridesmaid, but sooner or later we'll get back to the top step.
Well, best of luck to you on your journey to be the bride. I'm sure there is a trophy wanting to propose to you at some point this season. I would not be shocked if it's next week even at Pocono. Darren, while you're here for us again in the broadcast booth for an interview, anyone you want to thank tonight?
Oh yeah, Red Bull, TRD, the Black Lives Matter movement, DoorDash, all those guys, Menards, all those guys that are on our car every week, Exalta. It was nice. I think that's the first good run we've had for Red Bull this year, and they've stepped up a lot this season. So it's nice to get them some airtime, lead some laps for them.
Well, and lead some laps. You did 32 on the night, second most. Probably shouldn't have said that second part, but keep your chin up, buddy. You got this. That W is coming. It's coming.
I'm very fast. This playoff bubble's too tight.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're going to get a couple victories before we get to the playoffs, but thanks, Darren.
Thank you.
Aaron Ingram, driver of the number 23 Red Bull Camry, Tommy. There's a lot of disappointment there.
It's tough because, you knew he was coming at the end there. But, man, it seems like, everything that you were planning on doing there in that front straightaway at the very end, it could not have gone any different than what he wanted. Unfortunate to come away with a torn-up race car. Second place, still good for points. Plenty of lead laps, but not that all-important win, with Jeff Dixon now gets his second. In third place, right behind him, though, was Davey Hazard. Let's bring him into the booth now. And there he is, third place tonight. Davey, one of the Fake Racers podcast members out there tonight. Third place after starting 15th. Of course, a big gain for you on track, but we see that usually. But you needed 2 more spots for the win. It almost happened. Take us through that last lap event.
Well, I coming around for the white flag, I kind of was okay with the fact that I was going to probably end up third unless these two started getting silly. And I saw Darren get up there to him. I saw them enter the turn low, and I knew that I had to get a really, really good entry and go through the corner very well. And I made up a lot of time through 3 and 4, and J Dix is on the high side, and he scrapes the wall and turns down. My thought process at the time is they're pretty even. They're probably not going to spin back up into the track where I'm at, so I stay where I am. That doesn't happen. They both the momentum kind of reverses because NR, and they go back up the racetrack and collect me. And in the process of the wreck, I lose enough momentum to not be able to get past the finish line because they're in the air and have no friction on their cars. So it was really unlucky. I'm a little disappointed because I feel like J-Dix turned left after he hit the wall and dumped him or tried to bump him and it went wrong because I don't think he hit the wall hard enough to really make him turn left down the racetrack like that without control. I love J-Dix, so I don't think he would do something like that, but it didn't look very good, and it's a little frustrating to get caught up in something like that. But it was a good race. The track was tough. Yeah, that's all. That's all I can really say on the final lap thing. It's just massively disappointing. I kind of saw it coming, and I still couldn't get around it.
And I mean, it's a puzzling finish, right? I mean, Tommy and I are up here screaming. We're not, in that moment when we're up here, and a lot of fans at home, they're not thinking about, oh, did he turn left? Did he turn off the wall? I mean, some of that too. I mean, we've talked about this on the Fake Racers podcast before, but a lot of what you do behind the wheel of one of these sim cars and even in real racing, it's all about habit. Do you think part of what happened there at the end was just the habit of, oh, I'm in the wall, I got to turn left off the... If that is the case, of course. Do you think... Do you get what I'm saying?
I considered that while I was waiting for the interview after the finish. I considered that maybe it could have been something where it's like, oh, I got to get off the wall so I don't scrape up. But, I mean... Jadix hit the wall a bunch tonight, so I mean he should have kind of known what would have happened if he jerked it left off the wall, or if he would have just scraped it and kept it straight. I mean, I'll have to go back and look at it. I'm not trying to put words or put actions into anybody's, I'm not trying to make judgments. I'm just saying what it looked like. I know Jadix isn't really like that, so I don't expect that from him, but that's what it looked like. And I don't think it would be habit. I think, if anything, it was a bounce off the wall that went wrong. But you asked me to describe it, and that's what it kind of looked like to me.
Okay.
Well, Paul, you have yourself here in the booth. Anyone you want to thank?
My PTR teammates and my fast drivers who were hanging out in TeamSpeak with me while this race was going on, keeping it light. This race was very frustrating. The tire heat was impossible to keep up with at some points. Had a couple frustrating moments where we had a scoring error at the end, had a couple of scrapes in the wall, got really loose a few times. I don't know if you saw any of those, but we saved the car about 16 times.
I don't know how you did it, real quick. I don't know how you, that's a question. I want to ask this question real quick.
Okay.
I'm not saving the content for the Fake Racers podcast, sorry.
Yeah. But my teammates who kept it light, anyone who I know who watched it, you guys were putting on a good broadcast. USORL admins were putting on a decent race. And the drivers were also helping put on that. We had a couple of green flag runs. It was quite nice. Again, it's weird to be frustrated about a third place finish, but also I welcome that. I welcome the pressure. I'm glad that I'm feeling the stress again, and I enjoy it. I thrive on it, and we're going to get some more checker flags here soon.
Gonna get some more checkered flags. I already collected 2 on the year. Another great finish for the whole 75 team. Thanks, Davey, for joining us up here. And remember, everybody, if you want to hear more from Davey Hazard, check out the Fake Racers podcast here on JTN every week. Still have no idea what we're talking about this week, but we'll figure it out because we'll definitely be talking about this race and kind of the finish and some of the things that went on during the race. But Davey, thanks for taking the time after the race to come talk with us. Go have a good debrief with the team. I know I got one of the guys that you usually debrief with me right now, but I'll try to get him back to you as soon as I can.
I'll get him in the holler. Yeah, thanks, guys. Hope you guys have a good podcast.
Thanks, Davey.
Thanks, Davey.
That was Davey Hazard driving the number 75 Martini Toyota Camry for Prime Time Racing. Tommy, oh man, that was a finish.
Yeah, one of the ones that I think you never expect to have happen. Joe, I really honestly thought that this race was great.
Oh yeah,
we had a terrific photo finish as well. I got to be honest, kind of surprised because given the lights race on Monday was a caution fest, I did not expect to have this much green flag racing. But I'm glad we did, Joe, because this shaped up to be a beauty.
Well, and a beauty like they always are here on JTN. So if you like what you saw, make sure you hit the like button. That goes without saying, but also hit subscribe. We got more and more content coming to you right here on JTN. We'll be back with you tomorrow night. Myrtle Beach, the track that got shut down in the off season. It still lives on in NR 2003. We'll be with the Hobo Racing guys there with their NXS 20 series, which you can catch up on with broadcasts again here on JTN. We broadcast last week from Michigan for them. Again, looking forward to tomorrow night from Myrtle Beach. You can also check out Monday night with the ASRA IndyCar series from Gateway. That will definitely be a great show and one you will want to tune in for. I promise you that. Tommy, thank you so much for joining me. I know you got a long, busy day, and you're going to probably party a little bit more tonight after those Buffalo Bills. are moving on to the AFC Championship game. Hopefully they get to have a home game, but we'll see how that shakes out tomorrow. Any last words for the viewers at home?
I'll tell you what, you never know what you're going to see here on JTN. So if you're new and you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Look out for a bunch of new content coming at you. We got broadcasts coming up, Tommy's World, Fake Racers podcast, a lot of good stuff going on over here, Joe. And it's always a pleasure to be with you here in the booth.
Back at you, Tommy. And for everyone here at JTN, for Bristol, our producer, for Tommy Bordeaux, thank you so much for tuning in once again. I've been Joe Towanski. Spread peace, love, and happiness to all those that cross your path. And we will see you tomorrow night. If not tomorrow night, Monday night. If not Monday night, again, at the end of the month, USORL, Red Bull Cup Series, always putting on a great show from Pocono. Next time we're out with these boys. So long for now. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, folks.